Alright, hello everyone. Today we're bringing you some crazy new glitch found by Solanaceae, and this is one of the most useful glitches we've seen in a very long time in this game, which I'm really excited about because Spiral Knights was finally starting to feel a little bit stale, and now there's all of this new stuff that this opens up. Speedruns are going to be completely reset because of this glitch. So, let's get into the basics for it. You might be familiar with this. If you use a Sprite ability, and then you switch to a different Sprite, it casts that other Sprite's ability, and then within a small window of time it'll recast. So if I swap from this mask to another, to yet another, now I have 3 sets of quills that have gone off, right? Fair enough. You can't really use this in a real run other than Unknown Passage, because you can't actually swap your sprites. But it does let you do some cool things, like you could do a Flash Charge, for example, and then immediately swap to another sprite, and now you've got another Flash Charge ready. And that is super neat. But again, not usable in a real run. Until now, because what they have figured out is that if you... Let's copy their name. This one's name is Rush, so we're just going to take that here, copy it, and then equip the sprite. I'm going to reset its cooldown too. Now if I still do a Flash Charge, and then quickly rename the sprite, my ability resets, because renaming a sprite counts as swapping it, it turns out. Now you have a limited window of time to let me do 3, but it probably won't let me do 4, as you can see there. But that's ridiculous! Normally a Mask Wraith would get you 1 Flash Charge. You could get 2 if you do a Flash Charge, and then at the very end you get stunned. But that's a really rare circumstance. Now you can get 3, or realistically up to 5 if you get stunned and you're really lucky. But that's ridiculous. It's so useful. It means you can just tear through Vanaduke, and I'm going to show that a bit later in this video, but it's incredible. So our Vanaduke World Record speedrun is now moot. Like, it's easy to beat using this glitch. I think this shaves off probably 3 seconds from the run, and considering our boss fight was 53 seconds, that's a lot of time to save off. Now the other interesting thing is this doesn't really work like normal resets from sprite abilities works. For example, let's say I reset this Draken. Now I've got 2 sets of orbs, but I don't get a second movement speed buff. The orbs do actually both do damage, you can see though. So still somewhat useful, but not as useful as if you refreshed your speed buff. However, in this case, I also renamed my Draken by accident. Oh well. We'll copy the name this time so I don't have to remember it. Okay. Now normally if you do a cat, and you swap to a different sprite, it does this, where the laser follows you, but if you were to relaser, it would face downwards. So, laser, swap, relaser. Now it's facing downwards, right? You can't stack the damage, in other words. But with renames, you laser, quickly rename, now it has a second laser, so rename it again, it's got a third, rename it again, 4th, and rename it again, and you have 5 lasers going. And they're portable. It's insane. It's actually so much damage from this one sprite ability on such a low cooldown. It's going to break runs, because you can do this and just destroy a mob. If that was a normal enemy, it would be dead so long ago. Now I'm going to pop into the Vanaduke run I was talking about real quick and show you what I mean. So right here, we are just about to face Vanaduke. I have my item menu open, prep for this. The one distracting thing is you don't actually get to see your minimap when you have that open. But we're going to start off with a normal attack and then go right into the charges. So first one, rename, go for a second one. And rename, and then... Now I still have a sprite ability left because I did that first burst of damage. So my friend here is going to water it, and I get the Flash Charge, which instantly kills the mask. It's ridiculous! That was a really fast phase 1, and my friend didn't even blitz the first phase. That was a solo phase 1, other than the water. So same thing. Now we can start to prep it while the sprite ability is still on cooldown. And then by the time the sprite ability comes up, now normally this would be on the 3rd phase, right? Because my sprite would be out. But if the friend had a Mask Wraith as well, we could just alternate who uses it on which wave. Now I get the first Flash Charge, rename, I get the second one, rename. Now I have a 3rd stored up for this mask phase, so it'll also go down. I think I actually missed part of the damage here, yeah I do. But we can just clean that up in the mixer. And it's as easy as that. That's so useful, and actually not too difficult to pull off. Now finally, I've got one last trick suggested by my friend Fish'em Clishy here. And that is, if you start with the first flash charge as normal, right? Get that flash charge off, and then we just go into a normal charge attack. Now this one won't have the buff, but then we rename and it gets the buff for the flash charge part. Then we can finish it. You don't actually have time for a fourth flash this way, I mean you wouldn't anyways. But it does save some time. Normally, if you're doing this, you'd have... Here, I'll just reset the cooldown. I'd have a flash charge, I'd have the rename. Okay. Now for that time that I was renaming it, I was standing still, not being able to do anything. And then finally a last rename. There we go. But during each of those renames, I'm just doing nothing. I can't move, I'm vulnerable. But if we do it this way, I'll just show it one last time and then we'll end off this video. Got a normal attack. Now I just start a charge attack as usual, and in that time I can move, and now my rename frames are all being used inside of that charge attack, so there's not as much wasted time. The only downside to this is it backloads all of the damage. If your flash charge isn't going to hit every time, don't do that, because you'll lose off of your front-loaded damage with the mask buff. But if it will hit, that's great, because it just frees up some extra time. Saving the frames is always a good thing if you could do it. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I hope this has helped. And again, a huge thank you to Solanaceae for figuring out this one. This is big. It's very big. So I recommend you learn it. Take care.